Hey, insomnia! What's up? It's a culture detective here, having difficulty sleeping in the last 2 weeks. And today I'm going to be doing an album review on the new Kamasi Washington album, Fearless Movement. So yeah, my semester had ended like 3 days ago, but this is the first actual video I'm filming for my channel, um, after the semester is over. Yeah. And like I said a long time ago, I really need to review less and less in the future so that I can focus more on making video essays. So every time I film a review, it's something that I actually have to film a review for. And today it is going to be an album review of Kamasi Washington's new album, Fearless Movement. So Kamasi Washington, jazz musician, he's back with a new album. In 2015, he released a 3-hour long jazz epic called The Epic, and it's amazing. It's fantastic. In 2018, he released the album Heaven and Earth, which I reviewed not too long after its release, and oh my god, it's been 6 years already? What the fuck? Like, time has gone so fast. But yeah, when Heaven and Earth was released, I was actually quite happy with it because it has some of the most interesting jazz reinterpretations I've heard ever. Like his interpretation of the Fist of Fury theme, the theme song to the Bruce Lee movie Fist of Fury, but jazz, and it's amazing. But also other great tracks like the very funky Street Fighter Moss that I keep going back to from time to time, even many years after the release of the album. So obviously, with Kamasi Washington releasing a new album, I have high hopes. And Fearless Movement, it's pretty good. It's not bad. Certainly, it is a slight change in musical direction, and it's even shorter. It's 87 minutes long, and we essentially get another helping of grand, lush, exciting jazz fusion. But the new thing with this album is that he tries to do this poppy thing, and occasionally he would invite rappers onto the album. And jazz rap is fantastic. I love jazz rap, one of my favorite subgenres of hip hop. But some rapping on this album does feel very out of place. It's like forcefully slapping a rap verse on a jazz track, but some tracks do kind of work. So the album opener, Lasanu, sounds very chaotic. It sounds like a mess, but maybe in a good way. Maybe in a way it adds a lot of personality to the track. And also, given how many instrumentals there are on this track, I'm not surprised that it would sound like a mess, but it's still kept together quite well. We have a mixture of spoken word, hand claps. The vibes are definitely very spirituals inspired, and then we have these exhilarating jumpy rhythms that are just fantastic. Then we get a succession of tootin' saxophones and gliding piano improvs, and it's really fun for an album opener. Then we have the track Aisha the First, where the spoken word begins to feel a little theater-y, but I think the worst part of the track is that the rapping in the second half feels kind of out of place. But everything else in between is still fantastic. I really love this kind of tension that this track has, that a lot of the tracks out of Heaven and Earth also have. I really, really love that. There's this kind of immediateness to the track that's just really nice. But the album does not have all bangers. There are moments on this album that feel a little subpar, like the next track, Computer Love. When I first heard this track and saw the title Computer Love, my mind immediately associated it with Daft Punk, but actually this is a cover song of a Zapp and Rogers song of the same name, except it's not as tongue-in-cheek or as fun. It just feels like a slow drag. And this is like a million leagues different from the Fist of Fury reinterpretation, because that is a theme song to a Hong Kong kung fu film from the 70s. This time they're just remaking another synth funk song. Then we have The Visionary, which features neo-soul musician Terrace Martin, but it's actually a 1-minute interlude to the next track, Get Lit, which is a 3.5-minute long quick track. And a lot of people dislike this track, but I unironically kind of like it. First of all, it features George Clinton, who is a synth funk legend, but also this track is a full-on rap song. The rapping does feel a little awkward, but what I really like are the vocal melodic bits. They feel so sloppy and drunken. It's actually kind of interesting to listen to this track. I feel like it's a very interesting change in musical palette, so I actually kind of enjoyed it. Then we have Dream State, which features Andre 3000, but he's not rapping. He's playing the flutes, and the layered arpeggios are very clean and beautiful, and I kind of like it. Together is easily the most forgettable track on the album, albeit it has some nice intimate slow drummings and some horns, but I just feel like it's like your average spiritual jazz. The Garden Path is a grand track with an amazing nimble rhythm, changing chords and fiery solo bits. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but still very solid track. Then we have Road to Self KO, which is 13 minutes long, but unfortunately I don't think it lived up to its runtime. I like how intergalactic it sounds. Aesthetically, it's really up there, but a lot of sections on this track just come off kind of weak, almost a little basic. Just your average atmospheric kind of vibes based jazz playing, and nothing that interesting to chew on. But the last three tracks are pretty much three of the best tracks on the album, in my opinion. We have Interstellar Piece, The Last Dance, which is a really beautiful piece that almost sounds like it came straight out of a film score, especially when it's set on a bed of dramatic pianos. And then we have Lines in the Sand, which is a relaxing, laid-back, sweet, and dreamy piece with impressive pianos and group vocals at the end. And then finally, the album ends off on Prologue, which is, oh my god, Kamasi Washington waited until the very end of the album to drop this banger, because this shit is a banger. This is an absolute banger of an ending with spacey synths, drums, saxophones, pianos, keyboards, all working in tandem to create this explosive finale. And the fast drums on this track make me feel like I'm in a spy thriller, but the horns and the saxophones, the brass section of this track makes me feel like I'm in some sort of intergalactic spaceship or something. So yeah, absolutely amazing album ending. Probably one of my favorite tracks of the year, not gonna lie. Definitely in the top 20 as of now. Yeah, fantastic closer. There are some moments on the album that I find a little forgettable, but overall it's still a solid piece of work. So I'm giving the new Kamasi Washington album a decent 8 out of 10. So, have you listened to new Kamasi Washington? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. I need to sleep.